All right, guys, welcome to a new episode of 6 Feet Under with Mark Calaway. To start off this episode, we're going to crack open a nice Happy Dad.
Get it kicking right away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's kick back, enjoy a Happy Dad on this episode with our fans. And guys, crack open a Happy Dad yourself and enjoy another episode of 6 Feet Under. Mark, we've got, I know a lot of people think that, I guess you put Sting maybe as Mr. WCW, but man, I put you right up there too. If there was a Mount Rushmore of WCW wrestlers especially, you're on it. You were, as a WCW guy, which was what I was, you were one of my favorites watching, and I'm just excited to have you here to talk not only about your wrestling career, but what you're doing outside of the ring.
Yeah, there's so much, right? But I'll just go at the end of the WCW run. I don't think anybody touched you as a baby. There was nobody.
Thank you.
I mean,
that's you compliment.
No, well, I wouldn't give it if I didn't think so. I mean, just
I
the
know
reaction, the reactions, and everything. It was just. It was electrifying, yeah, and through the heart of that run. So, and no disrespect to anybody else, obviously, but my perspective, it was, yeah.
There's nobody hotter than you.
That's what we live for, is to be that guy at that time. So,
the biggest thing I think it helped the most when Sting went in the rafters, and that I had that real relationship with Scott and Kev,
right?
Like from tag teaming, teaming with Kev at the bottom of the card, and then helping Scotty change that look, which would become Diamond Stud, and of course Razor Ramon. So I had like real life connection to those guys, and that they're trying to bring so many guys in, and some. They brought him in. Oh, you want to be in? Boom.
Yeah.
They take him right out.
Right.
And I wasn't affected by any of that, just hanging in that mid-card. And back then, the promoters, not the bookers, they didn't believe that I could be that guy. They didn't see that.
Right.
I saw it, but not without a break, not without something big to happen. So they gave me, this is like kind of the beginning of I got to go back to January 24th. And the only reason I know this because someone sent me this match the other day, and it was me against Sting. It's 1996, January 24th. I'm still mid-card guy. And they say, you're working with Sting tonight. Just, go talk to him. And I walked in the room and I said, so what do you want to do, big guy? And he goes, what do you want to do? I go, what do I want to do? He goes, I've been watching. He goes, what do you want to do? I said, you gonna let me lay this out? I got some ideas. And the first idea was, as soon as we locked up and did something, he went right for the scorpion deathlock, and I got to the ropes. That match, maybe 8 minutes, that's the first time I walked through the curtain to the old.
Wow. Yeah.
And it goes back then. This is where it really gets heavy. Michael P.S. Hayes. I've been told already by Magnum TA that Dusty didn't have the heart to do this, but we can't let you manage anymore. And I was like, what do you mean? I got the Freebirds, I got Scott. I go, what did I do wrong? I'll fix it. He goes, you really can't. I go, what do you mean I can't? He goes, well, it's you. It's the hair, the clothes, the bling, the dolls, the rap.
Yeah.
You're taking too much attention. And Scott warned me about it, I don't know, 10 times.
Right.
You're just taking up too much, Dean. You got to back it off a little bit. And I thought I knew everything, and I didn't. The next thing I know, I'm not managing, but I'm still doing the color commentating with Eric Bischoff, and I'm still going to help producing in the back because I did all that, teaching, helping guys with interviews and stuff. And the Birds, oh my God. And Michael and I go way back before. So when I came in to actually work with them,
there's so much, just not to cut you. There's so much when you say the Birds that that does, for somebody that knows the Birds, I know what that means. So it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh when I hear that.
So they ribbed me at an all-time level. There was actually a rumor at one time that Humperdinck kicked my ass. You know, it was like, because Humperdinck was Big Daddy Dink
Yep.
was there. It was me, Big Daddy Dink, the Birds, you know, and oh my God, God, I can't even think of the name of it because I've tried to forget it. The liquor that tastes like licorice, Jägermeister.
Oh, Jägermeister.
Jägermeister, yeah.
Jägermeister.
Like, oh, that almost damn near killed me with those guys. So ribbing. But that day, when Magnum tells me I'm no longer managing them, these two guys come up, man, because they were brothers, you know, still today. But they had empathy. And they were like, you know, hey, D, we're sorry, man, you know, but this is, I hate to hear it, but it's part of the business, bro. It is. And by this time, I've gone through it's been 3 hours maybe from time Magnum tells me
Right.
until I'm walking him out for the last time, right? And I said, you know, I had that real depression going into myself. I went in that hole and I got to get out. What am I going to do? So by the time they are being empathetic to me, I'd already had it in my brain figured out. I said, boys, I appreciate it. I said, but don't worry about me. I got 7 months left of my contract. I'm going to learn how to wrestle. And Michael looked at Jimmy. Jimmy and Michael looked at me, and they looked at each other, and just there's your empathy. Fell on the damn ground. Hayes fell on the ground. I gave them both you're number one. I'll see you out there. And the reason I tell that story, is because every day when I would come off the road, I called 37 hours at home at that point because I was on all the time at that point, even though I was a mid-car guy. I'd get home, I go to the gym, go to my Dr. West, who worked on you, my plykesiologist. I go get massage, get tan, come home. That's my day off. And if I had another day off, I did it again. But that day, I had to get something before I went to the gym. I run inside, I grab my I'm walking out the door, and the machine goes off, right? And I hear, Page, pay ass. And I run to the phone. Mike, hey, bro, God damn, motherfucker, son of a... I go, Mike, what's the matter? He goes, Page, you know how sometimes you're calling someone in the middle of the day because you don't want to talk to them. You want to leave a message? I said, yeah. You want me to hang up so you can call back? And he says, no, fuck it. Go on here, Paige. Seen your match last night with Stinger. We all did. He said, never have I been so happy to eat crow in all my life. Great job. Click, and he hung up me. So that's where that moment comes so special for me, you know, through that, you know?
Wow. So this may be CTE on my part, but you started, I think, the day I left.
I know we
crossed
were there.
paths,
Yes,
right?
we crossed paths, yes.
Yeah, I think you had just come in on the day that I left WCW.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, we saw each other at Center Stage.
We talked even a little bit.
Yeah,
You know?
and that was it. I was gone, and okay. So this is 96.
This is 6 years later.
This is 6 years later.
Yeah.
So you had 6 years of you doing your thing as a manager.
Manager was about 9, maybe about 7 or 9 months. I can't remember exactly because it took 4 months to get a contract, and then I got a contract, and then I had like 3 months left on it when Bill Watts came in.
Right.
Well, now I've torn my rotator cuff. You know, the thing that happened that was so sweet was Jake, who I'd met in my nightclub. Now, you gotta understand, like, I actually tried to wrestle. When I'm talking about, I learned how to do a clothesline and nothing else. I know nothing. This is 1979. I'm 23 years old. And they actually put me in a ring for twice. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I went over the top rope and I hurt my knee. Same knee when I get hit by the car. So I'm out, right? But I'm going to go back. But then I get my first nightclub. I've been working in nightclubs since I was 17. Now I'm 23. I get my first little managerial job of running this club. And the booze, the broads, and the party take me in a whole
A
different
whole nother
direction.
trajectory, right?
Yeah, and I forgot about wrestling. I didn't really forget, but I'm having so much fun.
Yeah.
I'll get to it. And then Mania happened. And bro, I was so bummed out that I didn't freaking keep following the dream.
Right.
I stopped watching wrestling completely. And then one night I was flicking the channels and I see this Gorilla, Gorilla's one of my boys, you know, because Gorilla is the one who gave me that guy's number, who actually trained us once a week in Jersey City.
Wow. Gorilla
And-
Monsoon.
Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah.
And Howie gave it, and you'll appreciate this. Gorilla's got his bag. This is Asbury Park Convention Center. You know, it holds 2,000 people maybe, and there's no AC, and it's the summer, and it's hot as During the intermission, I went around the side, and I see Hammer hanging over the balcony. I'm like, Hammer, how do I get into wrestling? Off. Well, back inside.
He liked you, huh?
He swears to this day he didn't say that, but he did. But he did. So Gorilla is the main event. He gets out of the ring after the show. His bag's right there. He leaves with the people. And me and my buddy Johnny Shipley are those kids are, how do we get into wrestling, Gorilla? How do we get into wrestling? Come on, man. Come on. And come on. We really, and he gave us this guy named Tito Torres number, who was a jobber in WWE. And like I said, if I trained 10 times, it was a lot.
Right.
Which means I don't know less than nothing. I know less than nothing. But I see Gorilla, and I see this guy. He's got a leather coat on, got a big boa, got his cool do-rag and crazy sunglasses. And then he starts talking, and it's Jesse Ventura. And I'm like, this guy is amazing.
Bigger than life. Yeah.
Bigger than life, right? And he didn't have to wrestle, just being Jesse, right? Who's the first guy through the curtain? Got a bag over his shoulder and a swag walk like nobody has seen yet. And it's, of course, Jake the Snake, right? I watch him work. I can't see through his. He has pulled me in. And then he cuts a promo. I swear to God this happened. I pick up the phone. I call my buddy Johnny Shipley, who kept wrestling for about 2 or 3 years. Went to Tennessee, went to a couple places, never got anywhere, but he got to live that dream for a while, you know? Yeah. And I call him up. I go, hey, I got to ask you a serious question. This is how green I was. And this is 19, whatever it is now. But when I wrestled, it was 1979 when I tried for that blip moment. I said, did I miss something? Is some of this real? Like, is some of this? Because, I mean, I just watched Jake Snake Roberts, bro. I can't see through his. He's like, don't be a Mark. Of course it's not. Yeah. But it was a real question. You believe and you don't. It's Santa Claus.
Yep.
You're 11 years old still.
Yep.
It's Santa Claus. I want to believe it. I know it's not. Again, I know it's a work, but.
But that's a testament to how good Jake was. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sick. Now it's years later, and I'm friggin' got this big ass club when I see that video. So I'm watching friggin' WWF again. WWE. I'm watching WWE. Go to Tampa for a show, from Fort Myers. And then one night, I'm in the back room and in my little monitor, I see a guy walk in who looks like Jake. So our club's packed. It's like 11:30, 12 o'clock at night. I run around outside of the building. I come up to my buddy Johnny, who's working in front. I go, Johnny, did a guy walk in here look like Jake the Snake Roberts? He goes, yeah. He goes, everybody thinks it's him. So I pick up that pace, going through, see him, back up, don't want to fanboy all over friggin' Roberts. And I finally worked my way over to him. He said, hey, man, you Jake the Snake Roberts? Who wants to know?
Classic Jake. Classic.
The guy who runs this place. Yes. What could I do for you? What are we drinking? and we were off to the races.
Oh, man.
And Jake told the boys, and so if you work Tampa and you work Miami, you know that's 300 miles.
Yeah.
And Fort Myers, off the beaten path a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Ted DiBiase, friggin' Bushwhackers. I mean, you name it, they came through, and Jake told them, "You're in good hands. He'll take care of you.
That's all you had to tell a wrestler.
Yeah.
He'll take care of you.
That's it.
That's all you had to say.
And tell him, grab telephone, tell a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no.
So when I saw that, I was just, we just hit it off right, like so strong. And so when Jake came, remember when Jake came to WCW and worked with Sting?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he goes to the power plant that day that he comes in, not to work with Sting, but to start doing his contract.
Right.
And he shows up at the power plant, and man, I was Mr. Power Plant. You know, for you guys at home, you know, people, that's the predecessor's beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, predecessor to the Performance Center, which is at a whole different level, WWE Performance Center. But this was the beginning of that, and it was 5 rings. And man, I go from ring to ring to ring. When I walked in that place, after I stretched out and did my win, I was working the whole day. If my body hurt, I was practicing punches. I'm practicing kicks. I'm practicing spot. I'm just practicing. But more than anything, teaching. And every time I'm teaching these guys, because they're not putting me on TV at this time,
Right.
I'm teaching them, but I'm learning. I'm learning what I'm doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then I hear, Paige? And that's my real first name. All right, before I change it, because Paige Joseph Falkenberg was never going to draw anybody.
That's money, man. That's money.
That's never going to draw anybody.
Man, you missed that one. You missed that one.
I can see that on a shirt.
Smell that.
Yeah, smell the money. Smell the money.
So I turn around, I go, Jake. He goes, man, I thought that was you. And I came over, we started talking. He told me he was coming in. Well, at that time, me and Kev were friggin' tag teaming it, right? That was coming together. So, man, we'd friggin' got Jake, and we just want to friggin' hang with Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
Yoda, that's excellent. That's great. That is, yes.
So that's how it became so. Jake was in my life there, and then Watts, you know, he screws him.
Yeah.
he hated Bill, and Bill hated him.
Yeah.
And he's gone. I don't have a number on him. I can't now. I'm sure I'll run into him at some point. And then I tear my rotator cuff. I'm now maybe 9 months in. I tear my rotator cuff. Watts comes in. I know he's going, you know, he's been there. I'm the 36-year-old guy who just started wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not getting re-signed.
Yeah.
And Jake calls me to check and see how I'm doing. And I was like blown away that he took the time to do that. And then we started talking, and you know, him and his lady at the time were split up. So I went to see him at the Marriott. Before I left, I asked Kimberly, I said, hey, Jake's and his old lady are split up, man. I said, we got that room downstairs, you know, until he finds a place, you know, maybe get him out of the hotel. And still being green to the business, I don't realize
what you're doing. What you're doing.
That's it.
How many shots to the head did you take at the power plant?
Damn, you spent too many hours in there, Dallas. Damn.
That too, but I didn't realize the hotels are our home. Right? You live in a hotel for 25 days of
You don't think about it. Yeah.
And I hadn't really done it enough still to realize that. So she goes, yeah, baby, I think he could really help me. You know, I mean, I'm grasping it, but he has a way of showing me and telling me. So bottom line is he came. And I said to him, man, I can't wait his shoulders back, man. I can't wait to get in the ring with you. And he said, you're going to learn more from me. Like, I know you film every match, because I did film everything. I wish I didn't over-film a lot of it just so I had it. But he's like, you're going to learn way more from me sitting on this couch than you will ever from me in the ring.
AKA front seat of the town car that we're running up and
As
down the
you
road.
were running up and down the road. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, that's absolutely.
Yeah. So that was huge for me. And I don't think you know do you know the snake story?
I know a lot of snake stories.
Mark, of all of our sponsors, we probably get more responses for Bluechew than any other.
Yeah.
Guys, have a better time in the bedroom with Bluechew. Bluechew is the original brand offering chewable tablets that make all your bedroom activities just a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Such as?
Well,
Oh.
No,
Okay. No details. Okay.
yeah, you know what Bluechew can help out
I got you.
with.
I'm with you.
Yeah, you know what it can help out with. Bluechew is putting its money where its mouth is and offering you a month free.
Shut up.
Oh, yeah.
What are
They
they
stepped
thinking?
up their game in 2025.
What are they thinking?
Oh, I have no idea. But all I know is they're not stopping until every creature of the night is,
Firm.
stiff. The process is simple. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and once you're approved, you'll receive your prescription within days in discreet packaging, by the way.
Yes. That's
That's
important.
key.
Yeah, it
That's
is
key.
important.
You don't want the neighborhood Karen walking by going, "What's that on their front porch?"
Then they're looking it up and then they're talking
Maybe
about
Karen's husband needs some Bluechew and work her out. Bluechew tablets are made right here in the USA. God, I love an American-made company. And prepared and shipped directly to your door. Once again, discreet packaging. You can take them anytime, day or night, for breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, whatever you want. It's part of my daily vitamin regimen.
You snack on Bluechew?
Snack on Bluechew. So you can plan ahead or be ready whenever an opportunity arises.
See, I see what you did there.
Best part, it's all done online, nice and easy. You're not having to go to a doctor's office, no awkward conversations, and no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Yeah, nobody wants to get their steroids for their wiener at a pharmacy.
No.
Does it work? Well, creatures of the night, find out for yourself and get a month free. If you don't, you could be missing out on the best time of your life. Bluechew will not stop until every man is bricked up.
Boom.
Boom! Make life easier by getting harder and discover your options at bluechew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. Try your first month free of Bluechew. Visit bluechew.com for more details and important safety information. And we thank Bluechew for sponsoring 6 Feet Under. So go to bluechew.com and chew it.
And do it. That's right.
Thank you, Bluechew, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under. Story when we all get together. Let's tell that story when we all get together. This story is pretty epic. Do you think that if you would have stuck with it early on, that you would have had the career that you had?
No. I was too much of a party guy back then. I think I could have been in the mix, but I don't know if I would have lasted.
Do you think it was smarter? You think it was better to start a little bit later? You're a little bit more mature. You understand that rest is a good thing. You understand that I don't have to do maybe the flippy doos and all that stuff. I don't want to risk my body as much as maybe somebody else. I mean,
And the partying.
The partying was the big one.
I could have slipped into that, boy, and
It's a really slippery slope, the partying. Like, you could get in and then, I mean, it's just, that is your goal, is to, okay, the wrestling, okay, I got to go do that, but it's the party I want to do.
Wrestling becomes a job.
Well,
At
that's
that point.
that's the man, though, too.
Yeah.
Come on, mother, let's drink. You
Yeah.
going to outdrink me?
Yep.
Oh, okay, let's go.
That was the culture. Yeah, that was the culture. And
Yeah.
not only was his drink, well, I can outdo this. I can do, and it just turns into, you get this huge monkey on your back, and it's hard. It's hard for a lot of guys to actually have a good view of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Because everyone else around you's doing it,
And your heroes are.
Yeah.
And and Flair, well, he will test you to the 10th degree, because to me he was like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra could drink, occasionally some of those drinks did this.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know? But he like, that was the party master, man, and getting to be around that. And I just think if I would have, you don't know what you don't know, right? And not just knowing who I was at that time, I wouldn't have been as smart. I'm an old soul, but I'm a late bloomer, if that makes sense. Everything I've ever done, it's taken me a while to get it. Once I get it, I got it. But, you know, I think 35 was the best thing that ever happened to me.
But you look at things. I mean, you look at a lot of our guys now that are coming into their own. They're all in that 35. You know, so it.
Yep.
So it takes, regardless, it takes a while for people to really figure this thing out. Maybe for you, and a good thing for you is like you didn't quite have all the wear and tear,
Right.
but you had the maturity.
Sure. And it helps.
And it does help because then you have your priorities and like, dude, the clock is ticking. I got to do this if I'm going to do it. And everything becomes that much more important. And like the partying at a certain point, it just becomes, for me, from drinking every night and hanging out with the boys and doing all of that, just one day.
Right.
I mean, it wasn't a thing. It was just one day I just stopped. Like I was like, I don't need that.
Right.
Now I start focusing. I need to take better care of myself because I love this job. I love being part of this, and I want to do this for a very long time. And I've probably taken a lot of years off of my career by not taking care of myself.
Sure.
Yeah. So
You talk about you talk about getting the bus later in your career, where now the guys have all of them, almost all the top performers have Prevost buses that they're, you know, resting in.
Game changers right there.
Yeah. And they're taking care of their body. You've talked about it before. I mean, you seem like you were one of the first people in the locker room that were doing things like a NFL player would do when it came to taking care of their body.
When I put ice on my body and I put them on both my knees.
Who's got you this laughing this hard?
I know where he's going. It was no. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, people were like, "What the are you doing?" Steve Austin, God bless him. I was one of the guys he would drive with when I started working, right?
Okay.
So Steve wanted to drive alone.
What damn, Paige?
I can remember one time we're going to a chat, and I've gotten one car, and here comes this car, and I'm in the fast lane. He's speeding by me, and all he's doing is this.
He's got the middle finger up.
But Steve, we'd get to the shut towns early, and he'd get in the ring with me.
Yeah.
But later on, we got that case of beer chilling out there, or no case of beer, and that's where he'd take. My ace bandages were wrapped around my ice bags, and he put the beer in between. The friggin'
improvise.
Yeah,
gotta improvise here.
Improvise, man. God was so many of our co-pilots.
Oh, no doubt, absolutely, no doubt. But that's what you just have to you have to understand the culture back there. Going back to wrapping yourself in ice and everything else. Like now, it's a no-brainer. Everybody understands. Yeah. You were way ahead of everybody on that.
And when they asked me, I was like, "Hey, I'm 35 years old," and you know what the big thing was? Everyone would tell me right in the beginning, "You're too old. You're too old to start. By the time you figure it out, you'll be too late." But they didn't know the things I was going to do to try to hold back that hands of time and become really like disciplined at doing the ice. And not until the trainers came in. 5 years, it's just me. And then the trainer comes in. Then you see guys wrapped with plastic, ice their shoulder, ice their knee,
I don't
ice their
even
back.
Yeah, I don't even know at what year it was we even got trainers. Like back, I know for the longest period, it's like if a guy had a roll of tape,
Right.
like, I mean, he was the trainer.
Right.
Hey, can I get some of that tape? Yeah, but I got 3 more. I got 3 more shows. Don't use it all up, right? I mean, that's just how it was. There was no trainers. There were no doctors. So all of that, the only thing we had ice was for beer.
Right. Right.
I mean, that was it.
You break your hand, stick it in the cooler.
Oh,
So
God.
when somebody come back from the ring and they're all wrapped up in ice, it's just like the wrath of the boys is just like,
Oh, it's brutal.
oh,
It was brutal.
What the hell?
But if you go to the NBA and there's this kid who's playing for Duke right now, I don't know if you've seen him, Cooper Flagg.
Mm-hmm.
This I watched him. I saw him when he was like a freshman or sophomore, and I was like, "Oh my god!" So I just started being on top of
Right.
his game, knowing what to do. He got there. He's 17. He just turned 18. They say he's going to be #1 pick. Now, whether he is or he isn't, they're going to try to get him in top 5 no matter what.
He's gonna get paid.
Oh, he's going to get paid big time. But my point is that a kid walking into the NBA at 18, 19, 20 years old, you are not allowed to leave the building unless you ice your knees. Now, the old man who's 26, he knows ice my knees because of the jumping, and you're a ball player, you're a baller, jumping and twisting and jumping and twisting and jumping and twisting. Wear and tear on your knees is dramatic.
Yeah.
It's not kind. It's not kind to you.
Where were you pulling that information from to be able to do that? I mean, like, no other guys doing it in the locker room. What made you want to do that? What made you figure that out?
Well, being an athlete,
You just,
and I had many injuries as I went along. I mean, I was injured before I started, because my knee, I walked out in front of a car when I was 12. It hit my right knee. My face bounced off the hood. It blew me out of my boots, and I flew 42 feet from the point of impact. So this knee, which is now the strong knee, this one with no meniscus anymore, partial ACL, these are all reasons why I knew ice my knee way back then. So now we're going to ice both and my back. So that's leaving the power plant, because when I made that decision to wrestle, it went 6 weeks in and I was wrestling on the road. And that's where I started to learn there. But when I wasn't booked, I was back at there and back and forth. And then when I got let go, I could still go to the power plant because Jody Hamilton. Remember Jody?
Oh yeah, Jody.
Jody was amazing.
Jody told me, I'll never forget this, because when I was in WCW, it's when I was walking the top rope, and then I'd drop that elbow, and you're doing what 3 or 4 times a night, weeks of TV, and I remember coming back one night. Jody's sitting there at the monitor, and he's got his glasses sitting on the end of his nose there, and he's like, looks up at me, he says, "Kid, you're taking years off your career with that move." And I was like, no, sir, Mr. Hamilton, I'll be able to do this forever.
Yeah.
By the time I get to New York, I'm walking with a limp, but I just, Jody he tried to smart me up, but it was.
He was the first guy that said to me, because he saw my work ethic down there, he said, pulled me in his office. He goes, "Listen, I know nobody thinks you could do this." He said, "But I'm watching you." He said, "You keep doing what you're doing, you might just have a shot at this." And one of the things I said earlier, I told people how old I was, right? So that would give another thing to say negative to me, why I couldn't do it.
Right.
So I stopped telling them. And I didn't look. Like, I'm going to be 69 in another 2 months. So I don't look. I've never really looked my age. I always looked a little bit younger. So I stopped telling them. And then when people did ask me, I would say, "I'm 29 again." And not till I was about to turn 40, when my career was about to take off, I said to somebody, "I'm 29 again." They go, "You're not 29. I said, "Bro, I'm 29 again." "Oh," you said, "You didn't say you're 20. You said you're 29. You're not 29. I said, "I didn't say I was 29. I said, "I'm 29 again. I can't afford to be any older. I can't afford to think any older." That's what it came down to.
I'm not gonna get booked if I'm 40.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And then, what the truth is? When everything exploded for me, which, our 83-week run, it started in July, sometime July. And when I got to that Halloween Havoc, I'm working with Eddie, and there was nobody better than Eddie. There's Shawn Michaels, there's Ric Flair, but Eddie was, he was as good as anybody was. He was amazing. I felt like I was working with Shadow. It was so easy.
Eddie was amazing.
Amazing. And he's supposed to go over, and I've got a couple little wins here and there off on TVs or whatever, but he was supposed to go over me in the pay-per-view, and he came off the top. And when he landed, he hit that white rib muscle. and you know you can't breathe
Yep.
when you hit that. And friggin' got down, he throws me in, he keeps going. He don't tell me anything.
Right.
Does a couple of more moves, and I'm about to set him up so we can go into the frog splash. And I went to pick him up, he goes, diamond cutter. I go, no, Eddie, you're diamond cutter, diamond cutter. So I took a step back and just hit it, rolled him over 1, 2, 3. He was in so much pain, and he gave me that was like a humongous win for me.
Wow.
The humongous. And then they still weren't doing anything with me until I went to Kev. And I said, Kev, I got this idea. They don't see it. If you like it and will do it, then I got to talk to Scott too. I said, if you like it and you do it, I will hang. But if you don't, and because this is no way for me to ask you what I'm about to ask you, yo, is me because we're bros.
Right.
And the bottom line is, I'm gonna ask for my release and go to New York because I'm not gonna waste any more of my time here.
Right.
And he said, what's the idea? And it was the NWO thing where you come to me and you know, they've never been to me. Now it's my turn for them to come to.
Right.
And if you say no, you get your ass beat.
Right.
If you say yes, sometimes you get your ass beat.
Right.
So you ask me, but we're all boys. And how would you wanted me to do something that I didn't really want to do, and I got a little attitude about it? What would you say when I walked away? You'd go, fuck Dally, he'll get over it. Like, that's the mentality. And we do that like twice. And on the third show, you all come out. I get a win and an enhancement because only people they were letting me beat then, Eddie was huge for
Right.
me because everybody I got to beat was enhancement guys.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So I'd go out there, and that's why I got the diamond cutter over because I'd go out there and I'm going to make a match with that dude. I'm going to get on him. I'm a heel. Then I'm going to slip on a banana peel, start boom, boom, boom. He goes to do something, bang. And the people started to come and come and come. But none of it comes without this
Right.
because it gave a way for them to get to talk back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And they're turning me babyface before the NWO happens. But that's what changed it all. So I tell them the idea. We hug, you turn your back to me. Scotty goes to shake my hand. When he goes to pull away, bang. You come at me, boom, over the top rope. He goes, he may not remember this, but I remember distinctly him saying, I want to take the diamond cutter too. I'm like, yeah, right. We're lucky if Bischoff let Scott take it. Never mind you.
Right.
You know, he ain't gonna let that happen. And I said, he said, I love it. Go tell Bischoff. I said, I ain't telling Bischoff. I go talk Scott. And our Scotty and my relationship was started in Florida Championship Wrestling working for Dusty. I'm still running my nightclub at the time, so I ain't making no money doing that or the AWA.
Right.
But we started to really, you know, we exchanged numbers. We knew each other where we're at. When he came back from Germany, New York wouldn't answer the phone, and neither would Atlanta. So he called me. And that's where I call Magnum. He comes up and he said, remember that diamond stud idea you had? It's like, man, I could be, what he actually said, you wouldn't look like Andre the Giant with those tiny little Freebirds if you had 6'6", 298 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal around you.
Oh,
And I started thinking, you're right, man, because you're bigger than I am, but way bigger out, you know, size-wise. And I called Max, and let me ask Dusty. And Dream said, he's been here twice. Let's let it wait a little bit longer because it's too early to bring him back. He didn't get over. They didn't book him over, and he wasn't ready. Because you know the difference between Scott Hall here and here is light years. And I called Scott up, and they said they're going to pass. And he's like, oh, Dally. Oh, it's like, I'm going to have to go to get a job at Home Depot. I said, I got this idea, bro. He goes, what is it? I go, what if I could change your look completely? And he went, what do you mean? I said, now everybody has black hair.
Right.
But back then, friggin' Honky Tonk had that blue-black hair,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else was a little bit shade different, but it wasn't that. I said, we do a jet black hair, and you friggin', you have the Elvis look. And, and I got a couple other ideas. I said, let me call Magnum and tell him, if you're into it, will you do it? I'll do whatever it takes.
You
Yeah, right?
You got no choice. You got to do, yeah.
They ain't calling. And so I called back, and he said, I always like Scott. He goes, we're not flying him up. I said, he's in Orlando. He'll drive. You go, drive him up. We'll take a look. So that night, now I'm still a nightclub guy. I ain't been out of the business for 6 months or 9 months at that time. And I'm watching MTV. And George Michael, he had this patent leather outfit on, brush cut beard, handsome sumbitch, And I'm like, oh my God, that's a smaller version of friggin' Scott, the Diamond Stud. I call him up. It's 2 a.m. Dally, what are you doing? My wife's pregnant. I go, walk out of the door. I've got this great idea. He goes, what? I go, you got to shave that mustache. What? I would say, I shaved the mustache. It's like, I had that thing since I was 15. I go, another reason to shave the mustache. I go, this George Michael, man, he's got this brush cut beard, 5 o'clock shadow. Dude, I just think it'll really work for you. So he goes, all right, I'll see you. So he got to my house around 10 o'clock. That ridiculously handsome sumbitch, brush cut, friggin' 5 o'clock shadow at 2 o'clock. And the hair wasn't right, so I went and got that dyed out, dressed him with baggy clothes, the baggy remember it was Caparicis or whatever they were, baggy pants that were tight at the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and loafers and a full-length friggin' lambskin coat and rolled-up glasses and a tank top. And I said, do not take the glasses off. We get there, no one recognized him.
It was.
No one. He goes, say to Tommy Rich, we're in catering. He goes, say to Tommy Rich, hey, Tommy, you know Diamond Stud, right? Hey, Tommy, you know Diamond Stud, right? Well, yeah. And Scott turns around, he goes, you don't know me? And he started in his pants a little bit. And then he goes, Scotty?
Well, Mark, we're halfway through this episode.
You know what that means?
The only way to get through it is some first form energy.
Yep. So we are the only ones not asleep.
Oh, man. Well, first form energy, got a little screaming freedom here.
Oh, man.
If you guys want to be able to make it through the rest of this episode, crack open a first form and get some energy with us, because that's the only way we're going to finish this episode out, I think.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good, man.
Yeah, they're all good. Thank you, First Form, for sponsoring 6 Feet Under.
It was such a great moment. I hung up. And so, it was great to have him there. I learned a lot from him. My first tag matches with him. And I never understood. Here I did help this cat with a toothpick. The toothpick is one of my favorite stories ever. We're leaving Waffle House, and I'm giving him a toothpick. And we're walking to the freaking car. And I stop. I go, bro, that's a great idea. At the end of the interview, we both clicked the friggin' toothpicks into the camera. And in the middle of the promo, thing falls out of my mouth. I'm going, no. But it was perfect because it was his thing.
It was his thing.
And he just right on cue. And that whole character, Razor Ramon, was made in my 62 pink Cadillac convertible. Scott did not drink then at all. But did not drink. His dad was an alcoholic. So he did not do it. Roll that herb, though, baby. And he just started doing scenes from Scarface. And it was just around because he had just seen it, So that's where, and then he hurt his elbow, but it wasn't that hurt. But he get that chip out. And the day that he showed up on WCW TV, Pat Patterson all of a sudden magically called.
Funny how that works.
Funny how that works. And he said to him, he said, whenever you're out of your contract, give us a call.
Wow.
So, and this is what a classy guy Scott was when it came to this, the business and respect for the boys. He could have just tailed out and get done and gone to New York.
Right.
But he had to come by and thank Magnum and Dusty for giving that
Wow.
for giving that opportunity. You know,
That's good, man. I'm just, you know what, honestly, I don't know any of this stuff, so I'm just sitting back enjoying this because
It's awesome.
yeah, there's a lot of this. I didn't know you were so. I mean, I knew you were connected with these guys. I didn't know how far back you went with them,
Yeah,
and then all of these little tidbits are pageisms.
The pageisms.
The pageisms, man.
the when Kev goes, go tell Bischoff. I'm like, I gotta tell Scott. He's like, you don't think he wants to help you, dude? You're ready. It's your time. He goes, go tell Bischoff. I said, I gotta tell Scott. So I tell Scott. He's like, I love it. Go tell Bischoff. I go, I'm not telling Bischoff anything. Now, here's what's the beautiful thing about Nitro. It played from 8 to 11 or 11:05 or whatever they cut it off to. Well, now it starts the replay all over again. So we go to the bar. So here we are, me, Scott, Kev, Bish, and we're all watching the show like we always would. And then boys talking about the matches. And if you were a fan who walked into that bar, you lost your mind because
Right.
everybody's
there,
was
right?
there.
Right.
And so Bish hears it. And he goes, I like it. I like it. He goes, but he was not a big nepotism cat, man. You know, he was when he inducted me in the Hall of Fame, he said I had to work 2 times harder. I had to work 5 times harder. And because we were super tight and we met in a pull apart fight with each other. That's how we met. And Kevin told Kevin told him the story, and Bish went, well, let me think about that. And Scott, I'll never forget it. I don't know if Bish remembers this, but I will never forget it. Scott looked at him. He goes, wait a minute. Everybody knows you two are boys. Like, if being your friends, not a friggin' positive, you got to think of that. And I don't know if Bish, he'll remember it like that. It's my story, his story, and what really happened.
Yeah.
But for me, that's what I heard. I know he said something along that line. And I was like, damn, bro, thanks. For doing it. And Bish says, you're right, let's do it. But here's the real, all right, we do it, perfect. Second one, perfect. Third week, we're going to do it. And then I get told, Piper's coming in, he's got the bags, you don't want to take any attention off of this. I'm like, we'll do it next week. Like, yeah, great. Remember, I have not beat anybody. Eddie, I should say, I beat Eddie because he let me beat him. And I beat Das Wonder.
That's really an undersold moment to understand what that means. Because 9 out of 10 people do some kind of roll up,
right?
Just to get out of it, but to actually put somebody over because they know they're hurt. That's really an undersold moment for how Eddie approached things.
And we had a great relationship, me and him too, so that was like, I'll never forget it. It was a moment, but it still didn't make a difference. It took those guys. And what happened is it got put on the TV and got pulled off. Got put on the TV and got pulled off like 5 times. So now I'm thinking it ain't ever. And I've riding with Giant Paul, right? I'm riding with the Big Show, and he's like, "Dude, this ain't ever gonna happen." Like it's been
Mr. Optimism.
And finally Kev went, and I understand the booking committee. Those guys, no one touched them. No one beat them. No one beat them down. No one left them. Did nothing. Nobody. And it really friggin' they didn't think that if it's who that guy's got to be the next guy.
Right.
And it ain't him. At least we don't think it is. And Kev, New Orleans, he made it happen. And my times got cut for the match to 12 to 8 to 4. And when Kev walked up, I was beside myself because I felt like I was being screwed.
Right.
And probably it's just regular the TV thing, but I felt like I was being screwed and everything else, you know.
Well, that's ingrained in us anyway. That we always feel like we're getting screwed somehow.
Right. So Kev walks up, and Scott's already in that, and you know this mode. When he goes into spinning the Superman curl, he is friggin' that cat.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about, unless we're in a ring. And I was selling it, and Kev says, "Hey, what do you always say?" I go, "What do I always say?" He goes, "Breathe." He goes, "It's f***ing live. What are they gonna do? Go to commercial? Go out and beat that Jay Brone." And he wasn't a Jay Brone, good guy and a good worker, but just the way he said it was funny, you know. He goes, "Go out there and beat that Jay Brone. We'll see you out there, baby. This is your night." And I went out there, did my thing with him, hit him with a diamond cutter. They came out, and friggin' it put me on a fucking
Put you on a rocket, right?
Yes, you were.
It put on a rocket. And then, every angle up till that moment that I ever did, I came up with. I laid it out because people didn't do that for me. I did it. I don't care how small, care if it were an opening match, I can give a shit. If we had some kind of TV time, I laid it out until that happened. And then Mach. Next thing I know, Eric's telling me, "Mach wants to work with you." Wow.
Oh,
Really? Wow.
okay.
That's awesome. And one of the things that I had done 9 months before is my wife at the time, Kimberly, she'd posed for blondes, brunettes, and redheads in Playboy. She'd done a bunch of different satellite magazines, Playboy. And this is a girl who had Northwestern, graduate master's degree from Northwestern.
Right, yeah.
And she tells me, Cynthia K has a celebrity nudes coming out, and they want you to be in it. Me? She goes, "Well, me, and you're tying your boots as I'm about to get into my dress," or whatever this thing was. And I said, "They ain't doing nothing with us. Let's do it." So we do a 2-page spread, right? They love the picture so much, they say, "We want more." So they give her and me a 6-page spread. I'm massaging her, I'm putting toenail polish on her.
This was all done before your.
And now,
This probably went over well.
No, okay. Well, one, I know where this is probably going to go, but you have to envision who I'm working for, and I'm thinking in that scenario, I can see the old man. Just go ahead. Go. It's yeah.
So,
Oh my Lord.
so now I got to tell Bish because it's coming out, and it happens right at this time. And I got to tell him. And he said, "You've got a morality clause in your contract. Don't you forget." We got about 2 cases, 2 6-packs in before I brought this up. Kill some of the pain. And he said, "You got a morality clause in your contract." He goes, "That could get you fired after you just did the thing with the NWO." And I said, "Hey, maybe Vince will do something with it." And I was just saying, hey,
Trump card.
And then Bish is the one who took it to Mach and exposed. They Macho and Elizabeth sprayed her NWO and the whole deal, and we were off to the races, man.
Wow. It's so funny because, like, this is really all new to me. People think because you're in the business,
Right,
that you just everything that's going on and everything about everything. This is it's like I'm like a Mark that just found the internet right now, and I'm learning all this stuff because I'm going to go down that rabbit hole. I'm going to go home. I'm like, I got to look some of this stuff up.
I tell you, Jake, that was my best stuff ever was with Randy. Because everyone knew that Randy laid out everything, right?
Yeah. That was where I was going to go. I was going to ask you that.
And so did I. I want to know. But I was always more improv and friggin' preparation. I want to know where we're going. And, today, everybody, but it was just him and no one busted his balls, but everybody busted my balls. But I believed that it was going to, man, I had great matches all through that time. I didn't care. And there was a point where Kimberly and I and Lori and Bish were out to dinner. It's his wife. And she said, Eric, will you please tell him he doesn't have to go to that power plant anymore? He's beating up his body down there. Then he's beating it up on the road. And he looks at me and he goes, you're still at the power plant? I said, yeah, I'm working. He goes, you don't need it anymore. I go, listen, I need to be able to work with Rey Mysterio or the Giant and everything in between.
Yep.
So that was a thing that for me, it was a special spot. That's why I love the Performance Center. Oh my God. Yeah, it was friggin' amazing, the WWE. And I remember when Paul was talking about that, and because I wanted to go down and teach you guys DDP yoga, right? And he goes, just wait. That's when Jody had the place in Georgia. He goes, just wait. He goes, I got something I'm working on right now. And he showed me the plans. I was like, wow, it's gonna be pretty sweet.
Yeah, and it's only scratched the surface for what they're gonna do. Yeah. But man, alive.
Giving, I think the modern day athlete that we have at WWE, that type of facility is necessary because you have a lot of guys coming out of football. They're coming out of, they're D1 athletes, or, they were maybe, had a little stint in the NFL or something. You still had that with the Goldbergs and Vader and stuff like that, but not as much as you see now.
Nothing.
Vader.
Yeah, Vader played for the Rams.
I know he played for the Rams, but
hey man,
I know he played football.
He played in the Super Bowl.
I know that. But you're like acting like he was like some greenhorn that when he got to WCW, Vader was already accomplished and had a name like from Japan. And
no, what I'm saying,
Bam Bam boy,
right?
My boy Bam Bam, man.
I'm not trying to disrespect Vader. What I'm saying,
I think you are.
There wasn't a lot of.
Wait, come on, what do you think?
There wasn't a lot of professional athletes back then that were transitioning over.
Oh, yeah, I mean, Wahoo McDaniel or any of those.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. I mean, geez. Sometimes, Matt, you're gonna get tore up on these.
Oh, well, you gotta have a heel, right? We've got two baby faces here. You gotta have a heel.
Well, there's a different kind of heel. There's a heel like Jake that's over, and then there's that heel that like oh my gosh, why is he
get rid of this guy? Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
I'm glad Vader needed.
I didn't say the Vader needed the power
plant. No, you can't backtrack now.
I didn't say that.
I'm pretty sure if we roll this back, you're going to say.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to take his side on this.
I know you're going to take his side. That's what happens.
Right, because he's right.
That's what happens. So for you, Dallas, let's get back to other things instead of getting on to me.
Get the heat off of you.
Yeah. The 83-week run you guys had at WCW, you guys are killing it. You're at the top of your game, pinnacle of performance, and WCW gets bought. Everybody's going over WWE. What was your first reaction to that? Were you excited to finally go over to WWE, or did you feel like, oh man, I'm just now, like, I'm at the top of the mountain right now? Like, what was your thoughts? Mark, I like a little nicotine.
Do you?
Oh, you know me and cigars.
That's true.
Yeah, I like a little nicotine. And we got a new partner for 2025, Nicked.
Yes.
Pouches, man. They got the pouches. Much better than any ones that I've tried. And there's plenty of other competition. You know who that is out there. But if you're looking for a way to get your nicotine fix without smoking tobacco, because my wife absolutely hates when I go outside and smoke a cigar.
Really?
Yeah, because I come back in.
Oh, you smell.
I smell like an ashtray, and she can't stand it. So when I want that fix, and I want to keep her happy. Maybe I'm on a plane ride, in church. I don't know. Throw one of these in.
Yeah, these aren't frowned upon like if you
No.
if
Because
you
this
dip
is just
or-
nicotine. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a pouch and it's clean and it's
And Nicked is super thin. You can barely see it when you put it in. This is the peppermint one here. So it's something you open it up in your car, and it's a nice, refreshing smell. They got like 10 flavors.
Yeah, I've got
What you got there?
I've got the 6 milligram. What do we got here? We got
Berry lemonade.
Berry lemonade.
That's like a drink,
Right?
Berry lemonade.
It just looks happy.
Yeah, it looks happy. They've got them in 3, 6, and if you're a brave boy, 12 milligrams.
12 milligrams.
12 milligrams. I think 12 might be a little much for me. These are 6s that I got right here. 12 might be pushing it for old Matty B. I don't know if I can handle 12.
Listen.
If I did 12, I would say it'd be a bad day.
Bad day?
It'd be a bad day for old Matt. I'm not doing that. Also, guys, these things last up to 2 hours, and you can barely tell that I have it in. All right. So today, make the switch to Nicked nicotine pouches. You're going to love these. Right now, our listeners are creatures of the night. You get 35% off when you order through our exclusive URL. Go to Nicked, NYKD, pouches.com/6 feet. Get 35% off. Special offer isn't just for your first purchase. You get to use it up to 3 times.
What?
Yep. This isn't just a one-time deal. Up to 3 times. Don't wait. You get 35% off now at NYKD Nicked.
That's an incredible deal.
Pouches.com/6 feet. That's nickedpouches.com/6 feet. Now, just remember, Nicked products are only for adults of legal age, Mark, and every order is age verified. Don't be trying to sneak around out there. The product does contain nicotine, and nicotine is an addictive chemical. But if you don't want to smell like smoke and you're tired of dealing with tobacco, switch over to Nicked.
Clean alternative.
It's a clean alternative. NickedPouches.com/6 feet. NYKDPouches.com/6 feet. They got all kinds of crazy flavors, 10 of them. Go check them out. Thank you, Nick, for supporting the 6 Feet Under podcast.
Every road led to my ending in WWE because I grew up on WWWF, Allentown, Pennsylvania. That's when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, handsome Jimmy Valiant, man, and superstar Billy Graham and Bruno Sammartino. I love the bigger than life characters. And so to me, I can remember going to see Dusty when he brought me in Florida Championship Wrestling. And I told him, and he said, "So what's your aspirations?" And I told him, I thought I'd be managing that at that point, but this could be at some point in WWE, now new name. But that was always my drive. So when I heard it got bought, I was like, wow, okay. Now it doesn't, I didn't think it affected me directly, but when I saw all the guys who lost their jobs, all those guys have been a crew, because I was tight with all those guys. Those crew guys can really help you,
Yeah, absolutely.
Damn right. And I used to make them laugh all the time. And I felt bad for them, man. And where I'm living, this already happened, but I'm going where my home is now. I'm building a retreat in Panama City Beach, and it is super sweet. And I'll rent out the bottom 3 floors in the summer, and I say this for a reason. And top floors, that nobody will be able to get to that, but I'll use my whole place. It's going to be the best wellness center on the planet, and every modality you can think of, the whole back to hands of time. Now I say all this because that night we were in Panama City Beach.
Oh, when Shane goes,
Right.
Yeah.
That's our last show. I have a poster that's got me and Flair and Scotty Steiner and Jeff Jarrett. Everybody signed it. I got that poster, and that was the last thing. When I leave here, I will go to Panama City Beach. Yesterday, someone had called that there's a guy who's got cancer, and his wife got cancer, and they're doing a wrestling show tomorrow and asked if there's anything I could do to auction off or whatever. So I'm coming to this town, right? It's gonna be really my new hometown. And I said, tell them I'll show up at 5:30 and sign some autographs. They keep all the money. So it's just like Panama City Beach is all around me, and normally any of those things I'd make money on, but I'm coming right here. I don't care. Like, just come in there and do it. So it was, a moment for me, man. Now, I thought, okay, now I know I'm going to end up there. How does it happen, though?
Wow. Yeah. Because there wasn't, I'm trying to think. There wasn't that many guys that they brought up.
Well, what had happened, and this is what I had to to get there. Me and Kevin Nash, Goldberg, and a couple others had a lawsuit against WCW because they were just making and we weren't getting paid. Like, from bowling balls to, you name it.
Yeah.
The reason I had a bowling ball is I had someone send it to me, and I don't see anywhere of that. And then there was a bunch of things I didn't see. So they weren't going to give any less than 50 cents on a dollar on the money if you wanted to leave. But because I had to cut, because I had that suit, they would do 70 cents on a dollar. And Dusty told me, do not go. Take the money. Because I left $487,000 on the table to go. And mainly because I was 45 at the time. And my body was starting to feel it. My back, I broke my back,
Yeah.
and I was starting to feel it. And that would have put me out like another 9 months or something. And I was like, I'm going to get Kevin. If I listened to Kevin Nash, I think is one of the smartest businessmen in the business ever. I would have easily had a couple $1 million more in my account because of things that he told me to do and just out of experience. And some of them I did, some of them I didn't. But that was a big one. So
it's hard sometimes, and I've had to learn a lot of lessons of business versus the love of the business.
Right.
And they ram into each other a lot.
Right.
And if you can't separate it, sometimes you have to figure out like, this is what I should do for the sake of the business. But there's also that side of you that's like, well, it doesn't make sense to do that if you're not getting compensated. But it does ramrod each other when you have a huge passion for what you do. And
I, like I said, I didn't know how long it would last. I would never have thought at 60, what was I, 60 years old when I did the Dallas, just going out and hit a couple diamond cutters for Mania. I didn't think I'd be doing that at 60. You know what I mean? Didn't think about that at the time. But it was, like I say, I felt a lot of the guys, they didn't come over because they're going to take the money. And, in retrospect, it is what it is,
Yeah.
Yeah. They man, they didn't do you any favors though. We've never really talked about it.
No, I figured we were gonna.
Yeah, no, because I get a lot of heat because you killed Paige, I didn't book the right?
But, dude, I never. You want to know the God's honest truth? I loved working with you in the ring because you was the lightest ever. Now, Bob Holly was my last match ever in the WWE. Because let me tell you that story first, and then we'll get back into this. Segue. I have this match with Bobby, right? And it's just after friggin' Mania. And Hayes comes up to me after Mania. He goes, "You turned Vince around. That was a great match I had with friggin' Christian, who was being a heel in his home country." And friggin' it was just a really great, 8, 12, whatever the hell it was, minute match. So, what the hell was I just talking about before that?
Bob Holly.
Oh, yeah, Bob Holly. See, I've already forgotten because he hit me so hard. When I got him in a turnbuckle, right? Bing, bing, bing. My punches look great. I'm like him, barely connecting. I throw him in a turnbuckle. I come running at the last second, boop.
Boot.
Now my neck, that's it. It don't go farther than that, and that's good. When he hit, boom, extended, whoa. So now I'm a little on Queer Street, and then here comes Bobby with that clothesline from hell. Woof. I wake up on the ground thinking, oh, I have no idea where I am. Oh, so look over, I see Bob. I go, okay, that makes sense.
It's coming back to me now.
Yeah, coming back, the first thing I've trained myself to do, because I don't know how many times, but is there a red light? Because there's a red light, we're on TV. If there's not, throw me to the floor so I can figure out what the hell's happening. He goes to pick me up. I go, Bobby, you knocked me out. I have no idea where I am. Slam. He goes, going off the top rope, stop me. And as he started climbing the top rope, I remembered. And what I would do to get a guy who's climbing so it looked real, I would dive on the ropes last second so he'd nut shot himself, right? So now I start climbing up the first rope, the second rope. I go to put my foot on the third rope, and I'm still like, I go, I got to get him light. I got to get him flat. I got to get him flat. I'll stop here, pick him up. Here we go. Boom, we hit. And I hear, oh! And my neck, I land on the top of my shoulders and my head. And I'm going, oh! And he's selling more than me. I'm thinking, I know I laid that flat, you know? And he goes, are you okay? I go, no, dude. I feel like I fucked my neck. He goes, all right, let's go home. If I can go into it, and I end up with a cutter, boom, look at the people. Oh, get to the back. Now, everybody knows when you're boys, you get to the back, you hug each other. Thank you for that match. He gives me a hug. He goes, hey, bro, sorry about that boot. I know I caught you with that boot. I said, yeah, you did, but it ain't checkers. And he goes, man, in that clothesline, he goes, I thought I tore my bicep. And there's my chin mark
On your...
in his arm. And he says, but you got me back. Oh. I said, I got you back? How the I get you back? He goes, when you jackknife, your foot came around so fast and hit me in the dick so hard, I thought my dick was on fire.
It wasn't his neck. It was...
Oh, God.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh. So back over to us.
Yeah. So, I mean, you take the biggest baby face from WCW and you turn him into a stalker heel. Now I always say that, and some people kind of look at me cross-eyed about this one. There's always like an acclimation period from when you come from one company to another. And a lot of people give me a stank eye when I say that. Like, if you can work, you can work. It's not that way. You can be a great worker, but there's still there's the WCW way of doing things, and there was the WWE way.
There was. I didn't know that, though.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, but then, they book you, as a stalker.
Right. Can I tell you the backstory of that?
I don't really know it. So
this became a rib later, not for me, but on me. Me and Kimberly were super late because the traffic's insane. I want to say it's Memorial Day weekend or whatever where there's just so much traffic. So Vince has got to wait like 2 hours past our meeting. And we get there, and I walk in that door. He goes, Diamond Dallas Page, puts out his hand. I grab his hand and go, bro, I've been wanting to meet you my whole life. I said, I'm not shaking your hand. I'm hugging you. And I gave him a hug. Friggin' later on, you would see Vince be doing the hug thing on the program, which he never did before. Definitely rib on. People said, so you get that rib on you on the hug thing? Which to me was funny. But this was about to be like, you have to understand, everything I did in WCW, I had to fight, and I mean arguments in the booking room. Arguments. I wouldn't back it down to anyone. And neither were they. So we would go, there was numerous times I had to fight for everything. I'm in New York now. I know how over I am. I know I'm gonna draw serious money. I never did the job about doing the job for anyone. Like, I'm the perfect employee. What I didn't realize is what Austin said to me, and me and Austin, best friends for 30 years. I've done his podcast he had on his own 10 times. But when we do the WWE's one, where you go out to the ranch and you do the thing out there, the first thing he says to me, he goes, when you came in, did you realize the heat that you guys had coming in?
I love a midnight snack.
What do you got?
And my favorite is eating cereal late at night.
It's
I know
the
it's
best.
one of yours.
Yeah, it is the best.
Yeah.
Yes.
And, I don't want to feel guilty when I'm doing it and everything, but I don't feel too guilty when I'm having some Magic Spoon late at night. It's my...
How could you? 0 sugars, only 4 net carbs, 13 grams of protein. You're doing a body good, brother.
Oh, it tastes so good. I love Magic Spoon.
The high protein, keto friendly, gluten free, grain free, soy free, wheat free, naturally flavored, totally delicious, childlike cereal for grown-ups.
That's what it is. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa. That's what we've got.
That's what we got, baby, right there.
And there's so many more. Also, they got treats. We're all out of our treats.
That's how good they are.
This is our snacks around the studio. The Magic Spoon brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter, which is this one here. And that's probably the reason why there's no more left in the box. Magic Spoon, we need some more. So for our listeners, you creatures of the night, get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/6feet. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/6feet for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream. Hold on to your Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon, thank you so much for sponsoring the 6 Feet Under podcast and making a delicious product.
And I said, honestly, no. Why would I think I have any heat? Oh, because you're the brand. You're the guy. You said at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Besides Sting, friggin', that's the guy who came up through it and everything.
Yeah.
And you're that cat. So this is what Vince's ego to me as we went through this, and I didn't realize. Let me go back to this meeting here. So I'm here. Shane's there. Vince is here. Kim's there. And we talk a little bit, and then we get into what we want you to do. And we want you to be the stalker, to Taker and blah, blah, blah. No one knows it. Now, if I'm in WCW, I remember I'm going to be a team player here because I don't think I have any heat.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. And it isn't me personally, which took me a while to get to. It was the character and WCW. So I get it was business to a certain degree. And I learned a lot from it. If someone WCW and I just came in there, or if I was keeping my same mindset into WWE that I was already using, if he would have said, we want you to stalk Undertaker's wife, I'd have looked at him, I'd have looked at her, and I looked at him, I say, are you looking at my wife? She's the most beautiful chick ever. And you want me to stalk, of all people, Undertaker's wife? That's what I would have said.
Right.
And I would have went, listen, when you want to do People's Champion versus People's Champion, give me a call. What I learned, I didn't say that. I did pitch the idea of doing it. And the pitch, which I'll give you in a second, it's really good. Friggin', I didn't say that. And what I had to go through in my head over time, because our I would kill to work with you a year earlier when I didn't come in with that friggin' heat.
Right.
And I was being booked differently. And that's what people don't understand. It's like, you didn't do it. You were booked that way.
Booked that way.
To beat the WCW down, it was a fluke. Those 83 weeks were a fluke. It was what it was. But I learned and the only reason I'm building this beautiful place on the beach at Panama City Beach, I have no mortgages on anything. The only reason I can do that, I learned a very valuable lesson from Vince McMahon that day. You can't be afraid to get up and walk away from the table. And if I could have shifted over to People's Champion, knowing what I know now, I would have done exactly the same to get me here. Because, bro, you know now, me and you are super tight, you know, and I love that. And it took a while to, to get some of that to go away. But, man, I love where we're at. It was so important for me to have learned that lesson. And every time it looks like the worst thing happened to me, it's turned out to be the best on every damn phase. So let me tell you the People's Champion idea. I'm on a plane. You guys are doing a house show. We've got a pay-per-view the next day in Canada. And as I get up, I don't realize Pat Patterson's behind me. Now, Pat Patterson, Classy Freddie Blassie brought my tape to Pat Patterson and played it for him when I was in the AWA. Guy's got chops. He's got a great look. And Pat's like, yeah. And he's Andre the Giant as a manager.
It sounds like
when Ultimate Warrior and Hogan were getting ready to do their thing,
right.
They're practicing at the Sportstorium in Tampa. And so that's where I'm working out of, 2 days a week,
right.
the Sportatorium. Pat's there. We're sitting on the apron. And he said, yo, Diamond, I remember when Freddie told me, show me your stuff and thought you're good. But like I said, too tall, man. You were Andre the Giant as a manager. So I knew that was never going to happen. But that was the last time I saw Pat. Now I've had this crazy run.
Right.
I'm on top of the world. And Pat gets up from behind me. And he goes, Diamond, I thought that was you. He goes, let me tell you, maybe the most impressive career I've seen that came from where you came from to get to where you got to.
Compliment.
Oh, it was huge. So I said, Pat, do you mind if I come by the show tonight? I pretty much raised Big Show in this business. I got him ready for the match with Hogan. He was down at Power Plant every day. So was I, because they weren't using me. And he said, sure, come on by. Never thinking I would. And that's the same building where I was Diamond Dallas chauffeur with my 62 pink Cadillac with Jimmy Hart, So coming back there, I walked I found my way in, because that's a hard building to get in if you don't know, especially you get dropped off by a cab. Yeah. And I got in, he pushed me up to Big Show's suite. He has the intermission main event. Rock's got the other one. So now he comes up, we're watching this with family, and it's getting ready to near the end of the show. And he said, listen, let's go back. Let me get my bag, and then we'll go out, because we're going to go out and have a good time. Kimberly's back in the hotel. She's sleeping. And we get in the locker room. You remember how big those locker rooms are?
Yeah.
Humongous. And there was nobody there. And you hear Big Show go, hey, Rock, you still here? Yeah, I'm in the shower. He goes, great. I got some huge Mark who's dying to meet you. Like, you mother. And I just flipped. I don't know why I said, that's right. And I don't want to meet you unless you're naked and you're all soaped up.
Oh, geez.
And so, when someone knows that voice, but they don't know it here.
Right.
He turned around that corner like the Michelin Man was
also all over him.
And he said, oh, Diamond. It's going to happen right now. You can take your time, bro. So now we're sitting there, and, he's got the mullet gimmick still at that time, but he's on that rocket. This guy's special. And I tell him, I said, Jake Roberts called me because he was booking at the time when Rocky came in.
Right.
And he said, where do you see this kid, Rocky Maivia? He goes, he's so good looking. I don't know if I want to fight him or him. And he popped. He said, that sounds like something Jake would say. I said, bro, he said in 1993, he told me I had the ability, if I could just keep doing what I was doing, to be one of the biggest names in the business. He said the same thing about Austin when he was the ring bearer. And he said it about you.
The ringmaster.
Ringmaster,
Yeah.
yeah. And he said, I said, man, I've been loving watching your career, man. And I love this thing you did with the Rock this and the Rock that. And then you were yourself. And then you were the Rock. And then you were yourself. I go, it was really good. And so I'm going to enjoy watching your career, bro. So as we're walking out the door, I hear, "Hey, Diamond." As Big Show gets out of my way, I can see him putting on one of his Versace shirts and just rolling into character, right? He goes, "You know, Diamond, there's only one people's champion." And Big Show's like, "Whoa, shit." And I just deadpanned him. And eventually I said, "You know, Rock, you're right. And you, my friend, well, you're looking at him." Oh, and I was out the door. And that night, me and him, when I got so drunk, I came back. Trying to wake Kimberly up. She said, "Leave me alone. Leave me alone." I said, "I don't want to. Yeah, I want to tell you I'm going to show up in the WWE or WWF." She's like, "What? You just signed a multi-million-dollar 3-year deal?" I go, yeah. But when it's over, this is what's going to happen. When I show up, they're going to turn off all the lights. Everybody's going to think it's Jericho. But, 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds go by. Jim Ross is going, "Hold on, we've got some technical difficulty." And in a completely blacked out arena, you hear, "Who's the real people's champion?" Spotlight. You're looking at him. Bang! Boom, 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 explosions. I literally said to her that night, "The Rock will be hurt. He won't be able to be there. Or he'll be doing a movie or something." When I came in, he was shooting friggin' The Mummy. Like, I saw it. And it was the first idea that I ever let someone talk me out of, which he's pretty good at that.
Well, yeah. You weren't up against the normal
person,
the normal person there.
And yeah, dude, it bummed me out that we didn't get to have our run the way it should have been.
Yeah.
And then I tore my meniscus. And then I came back in 4 weeks after that, and then I guess started doing the thing with Christian, which was great. I mean, that gave me that saving grace, and I really wanted to keep going. But when I got my dome and I almost broke my neck with Bob, I thought, man, it's time for me to powder out. Yeah.
Well, not everybody has the presence of mind to actually. That's a tough call.
No, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Yeah, to call it quits and know that it's the right thing to do. That's tough. I don't envy that, and don't. I mean, I've been there, and like in my mind's eye, I can still go, but in my heart, I wanted to go, but I knew, like I was like, I'm done. I'm out of gas. Like, and. It's tough. It took me a while to really come to grips with it, even though I knew I was doing the right thing, but it was still like, there was that huge void. Like, what do I do now? Like, I don't know that I want to, I don't know that I want to coach. I don't know that I want to do this. It's just like, this is all that I know for the past 30 plus years. And
well, you had a kind of a pretty good career.
I did all right. I mean, I did all right, but being that sometimes that makes it worse, right? Because
I get it. Yeah,
that's just.
It's one thing to have a 10-year mid-card career versus a 30-year main event career, and it makes it a little bit. It could make it a little bit more difficult to have to walk away. I mean, you probably felt that same way too.
Well, when I first did, Kimberly really wanted to do the acting thing, which. I've always wanted to do, and I did a couple movies when I was in WCW. I said, I'm going to put some time in that. And that was so frustrating because now I'm the 46, 47, 48-year-old guy. That ain't going to happen. Not the way I wanted to, and I'm not going to put all my effort in that. So that's where I shifted everything over to DDP Yoga because that was something I could control, even though it was costing me hundreds of thousands of dollars because when you're investing, I was investing in me at that point. And what can I do? How can I help? And, it's turned into its own animal, but
I will honestly say, as great as your career turned out to be, and as much as you got over, I think the second act may be your greatest.
Yes.
thank you.
And I'm not in any way.
No, I get
I hope
dude,
you totally. I hope you totally understand where
No,
I'm
I
going
do.
because of what you are doing for people that have no hope in a lot of cases. What I've seen,
Yeah.
and to instill in them a a hope and a understanding that there is a different way and a better way, and have them believe themselves and get up off of out of wheelchairs and off of canes and do things that they thought would, dude. I mean, you can't. I mean, yeah, selling out arenas and getting all of the fanfare is great, but to be able to do that and do it with the passion, like that's what comes across to me with you is your passion to doing that.
Right.
Like you just don't do that unless you there's a good human being in there. Not good ain't even isn't even the right word. It is it's phenomenal to watch, and I don't know that I've ever even said these things to you, but watching DDP from the distance and all the things that you do post ring
Right.
has been. I'm as if not more impressed with that than anything else. And I know I mean, and getting filled in on a lot of your story has been fun, and it's impressive to see what you did, especially at a late stage. But I'm telling you, man, what you're doing right now and the lives and the people that you're changing and affecting, dude, that'll be to me, that'll be your legacy.
No, thank you, brother. I got a funny story about it. Remember, Brian Alvarez is?
Yeah.
Good guy, good guy. And he used to do a program years ago back when it was YRG, right?
Mhm.
And I did a bunch of interviews with him. Let's see, 13 years, 14, has to be like 17 or 18 years ago. Now, DDP Yoga took off when I changed the name, and Jericho put us on the map. Like, I was probably 2 months in, not even, it was right when I'd shift everything in DDP Yoga, and and we were doing the very best of Nitros.
Mhm.
And Shawn Michaels, he smartened me up. He said, Jericho, don't want anybody to know this, but his back is really killing him. He goes, you should give him a call. And Shawn was the very first person of the boys to ever do my stuff, and came through Rich Mincer to him, gave him a DVD from the backyard. Like and him learning the movements and all
Right.
that stuff. And my goal was always that the boys would make it their own.
Right.
So, the Shawn Michaels, where was I just going right before that? Uh,
You're going. You were getting to about.
oh yeah,
Jericho.
Brian Alvarez.
Brian Alvarez.
So
Yeah.
Brian Alvarez. So I'm doing an interview with him, and at some point he says, "Where is Diamond Dallas Page 5 years from now?" I said, "Really?" I said, "Diamond Dallas Page is the new Jack LaLanne meets Tony Robbins meets straight Richard Simmons." I said,
Leave it alone. Leave it
I'm
alone.
listening. I'm just listening. I'm just listening.
and the late great Richard Simmons, I should say, 'cause he was
Yes.
amazing cat.
Yes.
I said, honestly, bro, I think that what I'm doing today is going to overshadow my wrestling career. And back 17 years ago, nobody thought that, but I saw it. And I knew I had the disabled veteran, Arthur Borman. I knew what happened with him. And now it's been Butterbean and Jake and so many guys who, if you put the work in and keep doing it, you're going to feel good. You're going to get out of that hole. So I said that to him, and he goes, bro, yeah, your stuff's good, but it's not that good. He said, that's a bold statement. You had a hell of a career. I said, yeah, but this is just what I see. You know, so thank you. Thank you so much.
No, do you see a recurring theme here
Yeah.
through all your, yeah. No one thought you were going to be able to make it as a wrestler and had a fair run there. And
Yeah.
now, but
It's all about overcoming.
oh yeah,
Positive mindset.
I have to
waking up
overcome this soul every time we sit down in the studio.
I'm gonna throw it out here because, dude, I've seen you on Rogan saying you got to do DDP yoga. I've seen you saying so many different.
I put your over.
I
Okay?
appreciate it. I appreciate it. But here's
Do as I say, not as I do. Damn it, I knew this was coming.
Here's what I need from you. I just need one day because I want to turn you on to some of the things that I'm doing. I would love if if you and Michelle came out and spent a couple days. You'll be get beautiful place right on the water. Got your own stuff. You're on your own. I just need some time with you, just to show you. And can I get it? Can I get an amen?
I will get yes.
Right here.
There it is.
We saw
It'll
it
happen.
It'll happen.
Because once Michelle sees this, 'cause she is the queen of biohack. Like anything that comes in,
I got a lot.
well, yeah. Oh, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. Anything that comes down, red light therapy, anything, every we got it all. And then I don't use it, but she will, now that it's on here, she's gonna.
Then you tell her, hey,
you promised Dallas that we would, yeah. So
and go to a resort on the beach.
And you know what, dude? And again, our work with everything, this is where we're supposed to be. And you did say, I remember right after you saw Jake's resurrection and Jake the Snake, and I was backstage somewhere, and you said, "Hey, D, come here, man." And you said, "Man, what you did for Jake and Scott, man, wow, I didn't know." And yeah, that right there, everything, like I knew we would someday be here, and they'll be able to go to do the show, and that show that I think what you got there would was it
LFG, Legends and Future Greats.
Yes, dude, it's so good. I had so much fun on that show.
Yeah, man,
it was just ball.
Well, I think our next episode is going to be, we're going to bring in Jake, and we're going to have a little bit of a party of all four of us sitting down, talking a little bit about resurrection and about y'all's relationship for about an hour.
Oh God!
So I think we're gonna end this so that we can go film that real quick, if that's cool with you guys.
Man, that sounds good to me.
All right.
Awesome.
Well,
stuff.
Thank you, man.
Thank you,
Dallas,
for
once
being
again, thank you so much.
Thank you,
man,
brother,
for coming out. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of our sponsors: Happy Dad, First Phorm, Bluechew, Magic Spoon, Nicked, everyone that helps support this show. Thank you so much. If you're listening and you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And Dallas, once again, thank you for being not only a great wrestler, but an even better person.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes. Thank you.